is a wonderful crew and crowd that's turned out for this very, very special occasion. Let me introduce myself. I'm Bob Whitmer, class of '59, Chairman Emeritus of the Board of Trustees. And I'd like, on behalf of the entire board and my co-trustee, Larry Kessler, to welcome you to this occasion. I have known Paul Burgett since he was Dean of Students at the Eastman School of Music when we first had meaningful engagement. And to have this center named after Paul is so appropriate, so well deserved. Paul, of course, can travel the world, and there will be people who come up to him who he has touched in one way or another, and to see this culmination of the efforts of the board, and when we first went on a presidential search that brought President Seligman here, we had 5 objectives. And one of those 5 was to enhance the diversity of the University of Rochester. And Joel took that goal truly to heart. And we have accomplished much in that area. We have much yet to do, but this is a symbol of what that objective means to the university, and to see this outpouring of support is very heartwarming to me and to the entire board, I know. It's my privilege to invite to the podium the director of the Paul J. Burgett Intercultural Center, Janine Guzman-Ray, who has the privilege, I would say, of introducing Paul. I'm sorry, Jessica, not Janine, Jessica.
Greetings, everybody, and welcome. It is my esteemed privilege and honor to welcome everybody to the Paul J. Burgett Intercultural Center dedication ceremony. The Burgett Intercultural Center exists to promote cultural awareness and engagement, educate on issues of identity, culture, and diversity, while also providing opportunities for collaboration among students, faculty, and staff. The BIC is what I'm rebranding it as, is a safe place to where all are welcomed and multiple perspectives are encouraged. Our signature programs, such as the One Community program held during orientation, as well as the One Community Dialogue series held every month, support the concept that we as a community, as a collective, can come together to talk about difficult things with an air of civility and respect in line with our 6 communal principles that we abide by at the college. And so it is my honor and pleasure to welcome everybody, and I would like to introduce our Dean of the College, Rich Feldman.
It's a real pleasure to be here today and to welcome everybody to the Intercultural Center, the Burgett Intercultural Center. This center and the building of which it's part are the result of many years of planning and thinking, striving to establish something on campus to serve the kinds of needs and goals that Jessica just outlined. This is a physical place in the college that we've wanted to have for a long time. The college is, one of the great strengths of the college is its diversity. We have students from every race, every religion, from over 100 countries around the world, from every state, differences in interests, perspectives on the world, every kind of difference you can imagine is represented here. And that's one of our great strengths. But it really only serves as a strength if we take proper advantage of that. And we take proper advantage of that only if we have a forum, we have ways in which students interact and learn from one another, and faculty and staff, that we all learn from one another. We learn to appreciate our differences, understand our similarities, that we teach our students to become culturally competent, to connect with one another across perceived boundaries of culture, religion, and race, and to learn all the important skills needed to interact with one another and to learn from one another, and to experience just fun and recreation and learn about different cultures. So the demand for this kind of space has been present for a long time, but it took a lot of planning, and it took a while for it to actually, the Intercultural Center has existed, but not as a place for the last several years. And when the plans for this building finally came together and we were able to create this space, it just seemed to me that this was the culmination of all this work and all this planning. And it will serve as a unifying place for people to come together, to celebrate their identities, to celebrate their cultures, to share with one another in both intellectual and cultural experiences. And it's part of a building that serves those broader purposes. So it's really, to my mind, a transformative project for our campus. The next door, right adjacent to the Intercultural Center, is the Language Center. Teresa Valdez, the director of it, is sort of hiding back there over by the doorway. But Teresa has been an enormously valuable partner in planning this space, because so much of what we can do around a cultural exchange can come through thinking about languages. And we have, in addition to the Language Center, upstairs is a community kitchen. So that there can be a sharing of not only culture in terms of dialogue and discussion, but also food, and what can do better job than that in trying to bring us together. A good meal always works. So there's so many possibilities for interactions across cultures, across other perceived boundaries in this space, that it's my view, my hope, that this space will add enormous wealth to the enormous richness to the lives of our students on this campus. So I'm absolutely thrilled by it. I think the space is just spectacular, and everybody involved in planning, designing, and building the space deserves enormous credit for transforming a building that's scarcely recognizable. It's hard to believe that we're in the space that used to be here. If you haven't been downstairs to the ballroom, it's magnificent. Upstairs to see the classrooms and meeting rooms, this is just a wonderful addition. And to close, this Intercultural Center couldn't have a more fitting be named in a more fitting way than in honor of Paul Burgett, who I think has done more to bring cultural understanding to our campus and has been such a vital force on our campus for so many years. To me, has been a great friend and colleague. I'm absolutely delighted that we're able to honor Paul in this way. So this is just a wonderful celebration. I'm delighted again to see all of you here, and it's now my pleasure to introduce our president, Joel Seligman, for a few more words of welcome. Joel.
Paul is everybody's friend. He's been someone I've known now close to 12 years. He is a suite mate, as we put it. We share a space in the same suite. He's, in many senses, my closest advisor. And he's someone whose wisdom, whose passion, I've come to revere throughout the years. Paul and I both work kind of strange hours, and almost every Sunday we'll be here, except we do it in different ways. I get in early, and about 3 or 4, it's time to go home, and that's when Paul arrives, which can be a reflection of his background in music or just body clocks. I don't know. That has been a very precious time for me, and I suspect for Paul. We'll chat, we'll kibitz, and the range of his wisdom is staggering. He has literally traveled the world. I don't know anyone who has been to as many countries as Paul has and has learned as much as he and his wife Kay have in these travels. And it is part of, I think, the inspiration for why it's so appropriate to name the Intercultural Center after him. But even more than that is what he's meant to generations of students. He welcomes everyone. He welcomes students in crisis. He welcomes students who have questions. His office literally is a safe space. He is patient. He is someone who never ceases to see the very best in everyone and to want to encourage people to be even better into the future. Paul is a friend, as I said, and it's a strange world you live in Wallace Hall. It is a world in which, in some respects, you have to be kind of responsible for a university with close to 30,000 employees and 11,000 students and so forth. And more powerfully than anything else, Paul's inspiration reminds me every day, it's about the people. It's about the touch with human beings. We do this more than anything else because we're devoted to our students, our faculty and staff, and want to make this the most exceptional institution we can. I've heard Paul recount the story of arriving here when the Earth's crust started to cool. And I've heard him recount his many decades at this university. And he may or may not choose to do so today. But at the end of the day, when I think of why this is such an appropriate recognition of him, the notion that his arms are open, that as long as this university stands, this will be a personification of a great leader who wanted to include all of us and see the very best in all of us. A person with the sensitivity to sometimes know you have to be a little bit tough, and most of all, know the tender, loving care is perhaps what we all need. So it's for me, a total joy to join you here in the first time. I'm sure will be many occasions in what is almost in my own heart now, this hallowed space, and to thank you all for participating in this dedication ceremony. Now, no dedication ceremony is complete, at this university at least, without a plaque. And so I'm going to invite Paul and Jessica and Rich and Bob Whitmer to join us here, and we're going to ask Paul, with his ferocious strength, to present to us what we hope will be an appropriate permanent memento.
I haven't seen this yet, so, it's going to be a pleasant surprise. Rich, you going to help me? Oh!
Yeah.
Wow.
Let me read to you what it says, since I know this is a really extraordinary university, but your eyes may not be that sharp. For more than 50 years, Paul J. Burgett has been a student, teacher, performer, administrator, and valued advisor for the University of Rochester. His ardent devotion to generations of students and his exceptional understanding of intercultural relationships have helped shape the course of the university, especially its student affairs. An advocate for justice and equity, he has served in many roles, including Dean of Students, Vice President, and University Dean, Vice President, General Secretary, and Senior Advisor to the President, faculty member of the college music department, and ambassador to the community at large. His legacy of leadership and dedication to the promotion, understanding, and appreciation of cultural differences and multiple perspectives will inspire those who will benefit from this space, continue to influence generations of students, faculty, and staffs and alumni. Paul Burgett has had an extraordinary and lasting impact on the University of Rochester. Congratulations, Paul.
I'm speechless. And those of you who know me, I'm not putting money on that. That's why I thought I would actually prepare some thoughts on this very, very, for me, momentous occasion, unlike anything I have ever experienced in my life. And I want to get it right because I think it's important. My family is scattered all over the world and they cannot be here. And so Matt Mann has graciously agreed to video this and they will see it. I wish first of all to thank the President and the Board of Trustees for formally bestowing this honor on me. Also my good friend and colleague, Dean of the College, Rich Feldman, whose idea this was and who recognized that it was a perfect gesture. I wish to thank all my faculty and staff colleagues over the years, as well as current and former students for their enthusiasm about this occasion. After announcing the naming of the 2014 October board meeting, I wrote to Joel, Board Chair Ed Hagem, to Rich, and to Peter Lenny to thank them, and made the observation that I was an intercultural person literally from birth. I am the son of interracial parents. My father, Arthur Burgett, African American, my mother, Ruth Garizio Burgett, Italian, who in 1945, after my dad returned from helping liberate Europe from Nazi domination, could not marry my mother in Missouri, a former slave state that continued to enforce anti-miscegenation laws. So they wed in Illinois. I was the eldest of 6 children who grew up in the black community of segregated St. Louis. My father was a building mechanic by day with a telephone company and a distinguished concert baritone by night, the first African American to sing with the St. Louis Symphony. My mother was a piano teacher and our parish's church organist and choir director. We were a Roman Catholic working class family, and when my father died at age 62, I learned that his annual salary was $12,000 a year, and my mother's much less. Together, they earned less than I made in my first job. But the values instilled in us 6 Burgett children were solidly and indefeasibly rooted in our religious faith, in American ideals, and in our responsibilities to be fair, honest, hardworking, and reliable as citizens and as friends and neighbors. My parents created a world for us that exposed us children to beauty in music and art, in literature, in the cultures of different people. They allowed us not only to wander in the gardens of music and art and culture, but exposed us to the cultures of people of different races and ethnicities, of their food and clothing, their beliefs, their art, their smells and tastes and fashions. And they encouraged us to participate in making art and beauty out of what we found. We were youthful artists, musicians, dreamers, makers of things out of string and paper, wood, paint, and glue. We played the violin, piano, oboe, cello, and we all sang. But we were also mischievous children who played in the dirt with our friends, real and imagined. My imaginary friendly spirits, I recall in connection with this occasion, were Oppie Oppie, Doo Doo, and Ossie. friends who left me when real friends in kindergarten showed up. I cannot overstate, however, how important learning or earning a solid education and developing social fluency in a diverse world were. These two were stanchions, pylons of our human makeup, becoming educated, compassionate, learned citizens, developing talents that were consistent with our passions and abilities, and learning to move with grace, confidence, and fluency among the peoples of the world, including those who might mean us harm. These dominated our lived experience. My brother Peter, a technology wizard and winner of the National Jefferson Award for Community Service. Letty, a U of R alum who in 1969 as a member of the BSU occupied this very space in which we stand today during the takeover of the faculty club, and who now is a highly regarded pediatrician who has sent at least one of her patients to Rochester as a student. Mary, an opera singer who has sung throughout Europe and who has lived in Vienna for 45 years and raised a family there. Maggie, a Stanford University graduate and master carpenter, who now is senior projects manager at Stanford and winner of that institution's equivalent of our Whitmer Award. Kathy, a Stanford graduate also, who after graduation studied Nouvelle Cuisine in Paris, worked with François Mitterrand's chef, and returned to Southern California, where she is heralded as a pastry chef of supreme artistry and a teacher of the cuisine arts. I must mention my spouse, Kay Valentine, who, coming from a working class background, also earned the PhD in sociology, was a college professor for 31 years, and is a nationally recognized authority in gender and women's studies. With the foregoing as background, I have developed intercultural understandings to a highly refined degree. Having traveled the world annually for 36 years with my spouse and visited over 60 countries, many several times on 6 continents. Antarctica awaits us, and will forever, as far as I'm concerned. The point here is this. The creation of the University of Rochester's Intercultural Center is a dream of my heart's desire. I link its formation to the wealth of experience over a lifetime that has made me who I am and for which I will be forever grateful. We have in this new and beautiful space the opportunity to provide a range of experiences that expand our knowledge and appreciation of the rainbow of humanity, including race and national origin and ethnicity, gender identity and expression, sexual orientation, age, religion or creed, and varieties of ability. In this place, the possibility exists to develop and expand greater knowledge and social fluency about our world and its peoples. Vitally important knowledge and skills for those of us who are so privileged to be here and who have the responsibility of inheriting and helping shape the course of human events. The Intercultural Center is a place for faculty, students, staff, and visitors, and is a timely addition to the other assets at the university that help enable the good work of national and international leadership and understanding. Already, faculty have been in touch with me about their enthusiasm for its existence and anticipate academic opportunities in the center for their disciplines. Students began populating the area, not surprisingly, as soon as the doors opened. And the eyes of our staff gleam at new program prospects at this space, together with the possibilities that the magnificent renovation of the Frederick Douglass building promise. Center Director Jessica Guzman-Ray, with the help of her staff, is on the move and has already demonstrated tremendous energy and innovation in launching the center. I applaud her enthusiasm, creativity, and intelligent productivity. After announcement of the naming of the center in 2014, at which time I was taken completely by surprise when the president invited me to come down into the well of the room in which the board was meeting, and I had no idea why he was doing that. It came as a complete surprise because I am nothing if not familiar with the agenda of the board meetings, and this was not on it. And after talking about the fact that I had come to the university half a century ago, and he told me he needed help in unveiling the plaque announcing the naming of the center. Rich Feldman cautioned me that it would take a while before the new space was ready, worrying, as Rich is sometimes wont to do, that I might be disappointed by the length of time this would take. Well, Rich, good things come to those who wait. And I anticipate with great enthusiasm being able to participate in the growth and development of the Burgett Intercultural Center. And I thank the university for this honor and for the dawning of this day. Thank you.
That is fabulous.